You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. Music N Mavens, featuring marvelous daytime performances and engaging lectures, continues at the Rady JCC. Coming up tomorrow, the Koulack Family Band takes the Berney Theatre stage, and what can one can only assume will be a family-folk-funfest filled with Yiddish, Spanish, French, and English music as I get a little tongue-tied. Two family members have joined me in the studio this morning, Daniel Koulack and George Bader Koulack. Welcome to Classic 107. We're going to jump right into a little bit of music.
The banks of old Red River flowing to the sea. She knows the banks of old Red River, every creek and rock and tree. Once it is said she had a lover, she waited for him summer long. He found a grave in old Red River, muddy water flows along. She dreams of him and calls his name when the winter nights grow long. She walks the banks, they walk together, the river rolls along. Her smiling bridegroom, proud and strong, he held her on a sunlit day. White were the sails that damn old York boat, bright were his eyes as he sailed away. She dreams of him and calls his name when the winter nights grow long. She walks the banks, they walked together, the river rolls along. The banks of old Red River flows along. Dark are the depths of that muddy water, slow is the step and sad is the song. She walks the banks of old Red River flowing to the sea. She knows the banks of old Red River, every creek and rock and tree.
Members of the Koulack Family Band here with me in the Classic 107 studio. That is a gorgeous tune. George, can you tell us about what you just sang? Tell us a little bit more about that song.
Oh, well, you know what? I think my dad might be a better person to ask about
Daniel,
that one.
Tell us more about what we just heard.
This is a song by our wonderful friend Ted Longbottom, and he wrote it with his uncle Greg Pruden. And he wrote all these incredible songs about Manitoba, centered in Manitoba history from a Métis perspective, and the songs are incredible. Like, he should be revered the way Stan Rogers is, but he's just not like a very proactive guy, so he doesn't get out there. For a while he went out and played in festivals and stuff, and then he was playing in schools, and now he's mostly taking care of his parents, but they have this body of just unbelievably beautiful and incredible music.
Yeah, beautiful, incredible music that is indeed. And so happy you shared it with us on this Wednesday morning. Just a beautiful track that is. So let's talk more about this family band. Beginning with you, Daniel. You've been a staple in the music community, holding it down on double bass, on guitar, on banjo, and any number of ensembles, including Finjan. I just saw you perform a couple of weeks ago with the Myrons, also as part of Music and Mavens. A pair of Myrons and a Daniel. It was just a stupendous show. Before all of this and before this great career that you've cultivated for yourself, I'm curious, can we talk about your early musical days? Did you come from a musical family?
My parents were, Jewish lefties from New York, and so they were caught up like in the original wave of the folk music revival, with Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie, and they, when those guys were playing in Washington Square Park, and so they both loved music and played a little and sang. And I guess I always had, a really good feeling when, once in a while my father would take out his guitar and sing, and there were always really good feelings around that. And we had records, like lots of Pete Seeger records, and it just, something about it caught my imagination.
And then I imagine it only made sense then to expose your kids to the same thing, right? To music and making music as a family, right?
Well, it's fun. My daughter just had a baby, and we were having our rehearsing, and my daughter Amina was so happy because that was what she remembers. Like, she was in her cradle with Finjan in the living room, sleeping with the soprano sax a couple of feet away, and I mean that's what we did. And George, it's fun because now some of my musical friends are also his friends, but they remember him as a baby, just rehearsing in the living room.
Well, speaking of musical friends, Mina couldn't be here today, but in a classic case of Winnipeg, big small town, I went to Kelvin High School with Mina. We sang together in the choir, and George and I were both in the Faculty of Music. Actually, if I remember correctly, George, you joined the University Singers before you were in the Faculty of Music, right?
Yeah. In fact, it was really what inspired me to join in the first place. I wasn't, after I finished high school, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, and I just remember the first time I got in that room and was just surrounded by the sound of all those incredible voices, and then Elroy is the conductor, is such a great leader, we did Messiah with the WSO, and it was just and I was like, wow, this is something I could get into,
And got into it, you did.
Yes.
You went through the Faculty of Music. You're still around, and what I didn't realize at the time when you joined us, I mean, you were a great young singer. I was actually right beside you in the bass section. But what I didn't realize is the strong musical foundation you came from, especially as a multi-instrumentalist. You're doing a little bit of everything now, music-wise, right?
I'm doing a lot of guitar stuff. I teach guitar lessons. I play flamenco guitar. That was always something I was working on. I play with a little flamenco troupe, Flamenco Street here, and then, and
and George also is a percussionist.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it just keeps on going over there, George. And I know you do a lot of flamenco stuff, which is ever impressive. Very, very different in terms of the technique that's required, right? And that's what you're working on now in the Faculty of Music, right? It's just kind of working on those chops.
Well, I'm studying jazz guitar right now. Just to get a solid foundation in the theory and learn to improvise and stuff. But just in general, I'm not super tied to any particular style. I just want to become an all-around better musician. Yeah,
just a well-rounded musician and a fellow. One thing that's really struck me about you as an ensemble, as a family unit, is that there's such a variety of musical styles that can go into this. So I'm curious, in terms of this program for Music and Mavens tomorrow, how did you go about deciding the program. Daniel, do you want to speak to that a little bit?
We've just sort of collected these songs over the years. When Amina and George were young, we just through a series of unlikely occurrences, we ended up starting a little klezmer band with Amina and George, and then a few other kids from the neighborhood.
Was this the Klezmer kids?
Yeah, the Klezmer kids.
All right, yeah.
And so for Music and Mavens, we still pull out some repertoire from that. There's so many beautiful Yiddish songs, and then we have these folk songs that we've enjoyed singing. And Amina was a Spanish major, so she learned. She got into Afro-Peruvian music and discovered this incredible music of Susana Baca. So she has some, songs from that. And then George also, through the interest in flamenco and other things, studied Spanish. So there's a few, songs from that tradition as well.
I'm also wondering, because you're all such multi-instrumentalists, Amina as well, because she can play a whole variety of instruments. Is there going to be a lot of musical switching that's going on just in terms of putting down instruments and moving around the stage that way?
Yeah. We're going to have, I'm going to be playing bass, guitar, and banjo, and Amina's going to be playing mostly fiddle and singing and banjo for one tune. Yeah. And then George will be moving between guitar and a couple of percussion instruments, a cajon and a pandero, which is like a Brazilian tambourine.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great show. You got one more number lined up for us. What are we going to hear? Do you want to tell us a little bit about this one?
Oh, well, this one, we've been performing it together for a long time. It's a Merle Travis classic called 16 Tons. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll take it away. 16 Tons in the Classic 107 studio.
Well, some people say a man is made out of mud, but a poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood and skin and bones. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? You get another day older and deeper in debt. Say, Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up my shovel and walked to the mine. Loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal. The straw boss said, oh, well, bless my soul, you load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning, it was drizzling rain. Fightin' and trouble were my middle name. Was raised in a canebrake by an old mama lion. There ain't no hyper woman make me walk the line. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. And if you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't, and a lot of them died. One fist of iron, the other of steel. The right one don't get you, then the left one will. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
Remember members of the Koulack Family Band, Daniel and George, performing in the Classic 107 studio. A great performance that is indeed. And you can see them tomorrow, 2 p.m. at the Rady JCC, presented by Music N Mavens. You should certainly check out the show. A whole variety of tunes planned for you. I'm sure it's going to be a ton of fun. And you'll also see George tonight if you're going to the Musica Intima show. Right, George? You're going to be singing in that with members of the University Singers?
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. So there you go. Lots going on for the Koulack family, as always. And again, more details up at classic107.com or Music N Mavens up at radyjcc.com.